understand. My name is Navi D. I've been making beats for around 15 years. I've produced for artists and made music for a video game. My music's gotten millions of streams on Spotify. I'm also one of the recommended channels on FL Studio's own website, and so today I'll be helping you get started with using FL Studio to make beats. And if you want, we can also make a full beat together step by step. I left a link in the description box below to a mini pack of around 100 sounds that you can download for free. And I'll be using sounds from that pack so you and I can make a full beat together. By the way, it would really help me out if you could hit like and subscribe. I know you're probably new to beat making, but if at any time you feel like something in this video has helped you out, it would really mean a lot if you hit one of those buttons. So anyways, let's just go ahead and start. When you open up FL Studio, there are a lot of buttons and menus and windows everywhere. But these 5 buttons up here are all you need to know. Once you learn what these 5 buttons do, you'll be able to make beats. So let's go through these buttons one by one. First, let's start by creating an empty project. So let's go into File, New from Template, and select Empty. Now we have a completely empty project here. Now, as you can imagine, if you want to make beats, you'll need to use sounds. You've heard music before. Obviously, you know that sounds are necessary for music. So you might be wondering, where do you find the sounds in FL Studio? Well, that's what this first button that we'll look at is for. This button right here is the browser button. The browser is where you can find all of your sounds that you can use to make beats. You can see if I click the browser button, you can open and close it, very fancy. And in these folders, you can find different kinds of sounds like drums and instruments that you can use to make your beat. And you can even add your own sounds into this browser. So if you're following along to make this beat with me and you've already downloaded the pack, you can add this folder into the browser. Just find the folder and simply drag it into the browser. Now you should see your new folder inside the browser. So once you find a sound inside of the browser that you do want to use for your beat, this is where we're going to move on to the next button, which is the channel rack. The channel rack is this thing that's been open in the middle of the screen this whole time. And again, just click this button to close or open the channel rack. Now, what is the channel rack for? Once you find a sound that you want to use, the channel rack is what you'll put all those sounds into for the beat that you're making. So for example, let's say I wanted to use this sound here to start my beat. All I would do is take it from my browser and simply just drag this into my channel rack. So the channel rack is where you put all of your sounds that you want to use for the beat that you're currently making. So let's make a little summary here. When you make beats, you start with your browser. This is where you can find all of the sounds that you could use when you're making beats. Then once you decide on which sounds you want to use for your beat that you're making, you bring that sound into the channel rack. Then once you have your sound in the channel rack, you can start making the actual music for your beat, which is exactly what we're going to do next. But before we do that, there is one small thing we need to do first, and that's to choose the BPM of the beat. The BPM is basically how fast or slow you want your beat to be. This number that you see up here is our BPM, and right now it's set to 140. To hear how fast this actually is, just press play and turn on this button next to it, which is the metronome. This will let you hear the actual pace of your beat, and it's entirely up to you how fast or slow you want your beat to be. But for this beat that we're making, let's set this to 77 BPM. By the way, I have a full video on choosing the right BPM for your beat, which I will link in the description box below